Yo, what is up, my Shadow Army? So, Desire Shadow Critias back again with another anime discussion video. So, yesterday, I bring you guys like first ever content of the Misfit of the Demon King Academy video. Since I did like what 3 videos of Misfit of the Demon King Academy, and I want to do more of something like this in the future, and I'm sorry I put this video on hold because I was planning on doing this, but I never got the time to do it with a lot of certain things. Plus, be on the lookout for my review for the other 2 episode 23 and 24, because I was just want to make sure if 24 is the last episode, because sometimes it will go to 25 or 26. So if 24 is the final episode for season 2, then I will review 2 episodes by tomorrow, maybe? Well, not tomorrow, by this recording, I'm pretty much going to be watching on Sunday, which is today, pretty much in the morning. And, I want to talk about that I might have my all-time favorite arc in season 2, the first half of the season 2, which is the Great Spirit arc. And this my personal favorite, and season 2 might be my favorite. I don't know, there's a lot I could talk about for this. Okay, sorry about that, but anyway, so yeah, the first half of the season 2, the Great Spirit arc might be my personal favorite. My favorite arc by far, even though the light novels have 15 volumes, and I got 4 volumes of the light novel, but volume 4 is in 2 parts. I got the first part, and I just pre-ordered the second part, which will be coming in the next 2 months, in December the 10th. And so basically, I'm going to have to keep pre-ordering each volume of the light novel whenever it is released, etc. And they finally released it, volume 7 light novel? But it's only for the Kindle now. So, I think that's what's going on, or whatever. But yeah, let's get to why the Great Spirit arc from the Misfit Demon King Academy Season 2 is by far my favorite story arc that I have ever seen in this series. I never expected a story that it would be so good, but it felt tragic. It's a tragic love story for the spirit, the Great Spirit herself. I can't remember her name. Lumo? Ah, God, hold on. I butchered her name bad. Okay, my mistake is Reino. So, yeah, the story is between the Great Spirit Reino and Anno's right-hand man, the strongest demon that he has under his as his right-hand man. Ever since Anno's saved the Great Spirit from a threat, Anno's decided to let his right-hand man to be the Great Spirit bodyguard. And since Anno's has died, his right-hand man only has one purpose, is to stay with her until his king returns. So them two, slowly get to know each other, and the right-hand man has no interested or no intention of love. So Reino decided to teach him about what love is. And then later on in the story, we get to see more about what happened, etc., and who is the Great Spirit King, etc., and a threat is hunting down to find the descendant of the Great Spirit herself, which is the girl that is dating the reincarnation of the hero, aka Lei. So, I can't butcher her fucking name. Misa, I think that's her name. Yeah, Misa, that's her name. Who turns out to be the another false demon king, Alvas del Helvia. I hope I said the name right. Oh, that was bad to say her name, to say the actual name. So turns out she has two sides of her. Well, you can see the thumbnail, her evil side, her emo bad girl side, and her kind and positive and shy girl. So basically, because of her bloodline, her father is full blood demon, and her mother is a full blood spirit. Then we found out later on in the story that she is a daughter and the blood descendant of the Great Spirit and Anno's right-hand man. And the girl that Lane is dating is the daughter of those two characters that I just mentioned. And we see how it all happened, that the Great Spirit sent their daughter into the 2,000 years in the future for her safety, because she was being a threat from the beginning, because people did not like how a spirit and a demon fell in love and have a child, and then trying to kill her and the child, which is the god, the same god that Anno's defeat to save the Great Spirit, and it's the same god that's now being reincarnated as a demon. Yeah, that guy. So, yeah. And since Reino died and the right-hand man gave her his sword as a cross, like a gravestone where she died, and we see everything that happened, and seeing the right-hand man of the Demon King Anos Voldigo himself, we see this guy who has no emotion, no attached to love, is actually grow love and affection to Reino, and he actually does love her. In his empty heart, that one spark of light opened when she died, that he actually does loved her. Okay, sorry about that. But anyway, and seeing that and the music of her death, and see this man actually grows attached and actually grows to love her when they got married, etc. That, I'm gonna be honest, I cried. That literally got me in tears. Like, wow. Even Anos felt that. Like, now we know the most tragic event that had transpired. And now, turns out that the Great Spirit King is Anos' right-hand man himself. And it's just, wow. And then later on in the story that we found out, it was Lane's girlfriend that we all know and loved is the false demon king the entire time, because of her demon side. Because, yeah, until later on in the series, and until later on in season 2, she can transform to her other side, her demon side, because it's a lot more power than who she was now as a spirit. So basically, she could transform to her demon side and back to her spirit side. Basically, change her personality. Like, two personality itself. I'm trying to think of a character has that. God, what was the character that changed their personality and changed back? Ah, crap. I'm trying to think of a character is so similar to that. Like, change that, the kind of innocent, shy looking person to the most, bad boy or teasing type, bad girls, emo type person. I forget the character. Damn. And just fuck, it is tragic. And that mysterious girl with the hood, and we can't identify the face, which it turns out to be the Great Spirit herself, that she was reincarnated to a different girl, but having been break free. And then when she finally got to rest in peace and gave, her family a closure, etc., until Anos brought Reino back. So that did got me emotional, but it's like, okay, Anos, I see what you did there, and I know you have the power to resurrect someone, but there's a time and place where they had to stay dead. And I get why you did that, because you didn't want them to suffer anymore, which I could see why he did it. So now Reino is back as a great spirit, along with her husband, the right-hand man of the Demon King, and now they were able to be with their actual daughter, and the daughter could be with her biological parents, because she was adopted, because she didn't have any family since then. So basically, Lane's girlfriend was born 2,000 years ago, but get transferred to the future 2,000 years later. So does that make her was born 2,000 years old, and she's like 2,000 years old as well, but still young, like in a minor age, like 16 and 15-year-old girl, but born 2,000 years. So yeah, that's something that came to my mind. But this arc was so good that it got me into tears. I did not expect this will get me so emotional and so invested of the flashback between Reino and the right-hand man of the Demon King, to have a tragic romance story, and it felt so good. And this is one thing that One Punch Man should take note. This show actually focuses on storytelling instead of focusing on how strong Saitama is. You know what I mean? Because yes, Anos is OP. We know that for damn sure. But it doesn't take away. It didn't take away the story that Anos is fucking OP. Because when it comes to OP characters, that OP main characters always destroys and ruin the stories all the time. And One Punch Man is that. Because they're trying to make Saitama as a OP anime version of Superman and ruin the entire story and made it boring. But with this show, they don't do this. They don't make the same mistake. They don't try to show off Anos how powerful he is. No, they don't do that. Sure, they show how powerful he is when it comes to fight scene. Only the fight scene, that was it. But it didn't take away the rest of the story where there is no fighting, including this tragic romance story of the Great Spirit arc. Because it didn't ruin it because how OP Anos is. Because basically, this is how you do OP characters done right, but not ruin the story and not changing anything. Like when Anos says about, yeah, we can go back in time, but they cannot. I mean, they can see us, but we cannot change the events. So basically, yeah, we're in this timeline, but we can't change the event. So basically, it didn't change the timeline when they were involved. So yeah, it's just on like a flashback they were involved, or something like that. it didn't take away the story of an OP character. Because that's one thing people do. How do I put this? I just don't like the show has OP characters that takes away a story and not focusing on the story, but more just focusing on the main character being fucking OP. That's what I don't like. But this show doesn't do that, and I'm glad it didn't. So basically, that's what I'm trying to say. I do not like the show that focuses on a main character to be a fucking OP from the start, and not focusing on the story instead. But this show didn't make the same mistake, and focus on the story less the main character being OP. So, yeah. But this arc is so good and so tragic. And the romance is so good too. And the music, God, that got me emotional. I don't know what I could say. This is my favorite arc until there is some other arc will be better and be my personal favorite arc than this. But for right now, the Great Spirit arc, the first half of season 2, is my personal favorite, in my opinion. And this one thing I'm afraid of is if we don't, get season 3 or other season after season 3 for this show, I'm gonna be so disappointed because I do not want this show to be canceled. And not a lot of people talk about this show. Even though it's new, it came out like 2018, 2019, and season 2 got hiatus because of the pandemic in 2020, and now they finally finishing this season since this year now. And who knows when we're gonna get season 3. We honestly don't know. And no one even talks about it. It's like this show has been under the radar, but it still goes on in a light novel. So, yeah, for those people who have not seen the Misfit of the Demon King Academy, I highly, highly recommend you guys watch this show. It is so good, and it focuses on the story than the main character being so fucking OP. So, yeah. And, how do I put this? Oh, and also, be on the lookout for my review for the last 2 episodes of Season 2. And also be on the lookout for anime Lanticore for Anos Votigode, of which Lanticore that Anos Votigode should be in. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on this video, and also let me hear your guys' thoughts about which Lanticore that Anos Votigode should be in. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Links to my other channel, my social media will be down below in the description box. You guys know the drill. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Kneel before Shadow Critias, and I'll see you guys later.